Hi, everybody. It's episode 607 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. I'm Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
And don't forget Star Fox.
I haven't watched the trailer.
He's not in it.
Oh, he's not?
But they've confirmed he's in it.
So it was just like literally that splash image they showed?
Yeah.
So yeah. I assumed he was in a trailer.
No,
was.
As far as I can tell, I've not watched too many trailers. I watched the recent one, and I did not see him in it. So, like, it's just like a quick shot of maybe his glove or something. I don't know. That people were like, "Oh, is that Star Fox or something?" I don't know. Like, I don't know where people were speculating that Star Fox was going to be in it. But for those of you who don't know, 2 weeks before Mario Galaxy releases today, actually, Nintendo confirmed that Star Fox is going to be in Mario Galaxy movie. 2 weeks before. That makes me so mad.
It doesn't bother me, but it's definitely one of those, it's like, why not let that be a surprise?
Well, that's kind of my point with that is it doesn't make me more excited to see the movie. However, had I not known he was going to be in the movie and I saw him, I would have been so incredibly excited. And that's where I'm like, you're spoiling your movie before it's even out? Come on now. And it's probably like a bit part too. It's probably like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, like, it might not be, because, I mean, like, look at how much Donkey Kong was in the first one. He had, like, a decent little section.
Yeah, he had a decent role, but he was, like, featured in trailers.
So I don't remember the trailers for the first one, and frankly, the only trailer I've seen for this one was the one that they did during the Direct, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it's one of those movies where, like, I'll see it when it releases on, like, a streaming platform, but, like, I don't care that much. Like, the first one was actually pretty good. Like, I think it was a fine movie, but it's not something that I'm like, oh man, I want to see that like as soon as it comes out. Like, I'm not going to pay to rent it or anything.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go see it because I probably don't really have much else to do on Saturday. I might just go see it on Saturday or Sunday, just because.
Yeah.
I now want to know to what capacity he's in it and why he's in it, but like at the same time, like I could just wait too. I just don't have anything to do, so I'm trying to find something to do. But Fair. It's just like it just drives me nuts. Like Capcom did the same thing with Leon. Half of Resident Evil 9 was Leon, but they should have billed most of the game as just being Grace. And then when you first play it, there's a section with Leon? What is going on?
Yeah, like I understand why they didn't, because they want to also appeal to like the fans that want that game. But the 7 and 8 were both hugely popular, and I feel like 8, Chris Redfield is in 8, right?
Chris
but
is
like
in 8,
later
yes.
in the game.
Yes.
And like I don't remember him being like revealed before the game released.
So Chris was in 7 as well. At the very end of 7, Chris was one of the soldiers,
right?
Yeah, he was one of the soldiers that rescues Ethan after you defeat the final boss in 7.
He's a cameo in that? Isn't he actually playable in 8 though?
He might have a quick playable part, but he plays a major role throughout 8.
Oh, I thought he was playable in 8. I didn't know he was just like an NPC. Like
he might have had a playable role. I don't quite remember.
No, like I thought he was like a legit, like you played a good chunk of the game as him.
No. It's like a section, if anything.
Okay.
Best. It wasn't like a whole part. But like I don't remember much of the trailers of 8, but I'm sure Chris was in them. I think they even mentioned him in the trailers once. Yeah, because the whole thing was Chris was at one point they kind of keyed Chris as a villain in 8 during the trailers, because like they tried to make it seem like he was part werewolf at one point, if I remember correctly. Like they just did something crazy with the trailers when it came to 8, but with this one, my brain goes back to with stuff like this. It goes back to Assassin's Creed 1, the original Assassin's Creed. This game where you are an assassin in ancient, probably like Mesopotamian times or like ancient Middle Eastern area, and then it turns out that you're a dude in a machine replaying the memories of his ancestors. You didn't know about the Animus.
That was actually a very cool twist, like at the beginning of that first Assassin's Creed.
Now imagine seeing a trailer where you're playing where it's you're in a game, but in this game, you're in a game again. It's like, oh, that's kind of dumb. But the excitement of experiencing it the first time, that's where I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, and I get it. Like 2007, like the media news cycle for this stuff wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they could have absolutely not revealed Leon because again,
Yeah.
like my point before was basically 7 and 8 focused on a character that was not an existing Resident Evil character. Like,
Exactly.
and we're also very different games from like your traditional Resident Evil, like first person, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially after 4, 5, and 6 being like very action heavy games compared to like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But then like yeah, for this one it's like okay, cool, yeah, like they're showing us up front that it's this new character, and then 4 months before the release is when they're like, oh right, and Leon's the other half of the game.
And
It gets people invested that are like the old fans of like the 4 era, but it also like I feel like those people were probably going to play this also because
the fans that you were getting from the Leon release reveal are the fans that already were going to get the game anyway.
Right.
I feel like, and that's kind of how I feel with Star Fox as well. It's like the people you're getting to go see this movie by confirming Star Fox is in it are already going to go see it. So why not just keep that under wraps?
Agreed.
Because Andrew, you're agreeing with me, which I like. You're usually like, who cares about spoilers? But like, I was like trying to figure out think of it this way, like. You go to a ton of concerts, imagine finding out there's going to be a special guest that you love at a concert before you go to that concert, as opposed to going to the concert not knowing they're going to be there and them showing up. It's two completely different feelings, and I would much rather have the one of not knowing and finding out.
Yeah, and like
I mean, that's where like I don't really care if I knew like I'm going to these 3 Wonder Years shows next weekend.
fuck
I'm
you.
almost certain on the One Day Spanish Love Songs is the song that they recently recorded with Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years. Like, it doesn't ruin anything for me, but I agree with the point of like, who did this bring in that was going to buy Resident Evil or is going to go see Mario? Nobody. So like, you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
What was the point of the announcement?
It's because they need something to keep the thing in like the media spotlight,
right?
But
they don't have anything else.
Here's the counter argument for Resident Evil. At least they announced that you were going back to Raccoon City. That's all you fucking need.
Yeah, fair.
Like, I think that was a better announcement to be like, oh, by the way, you're going back to Raccoon City, than, oh, by the way, you get to play as Leon. I think that was a more selling announcement than getting to play as Leon, especially since we just got Resident Evil 4 remake, 2 years ago?
Or 3, yeah. Was it 22 or 23, right?
Something like that, yeah. It was within the past few years. And it's like, yeah, it's just, this pseudo-spoiler culture kind of shenanigans of companies spoiling their own properties, even minimal, like a bit character showing up in the movie, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, and again, like it definitely is that media cycle thing to an extent. Like they need to just keep trickling things in so that people don't forget the thing is happening, because we live in this 24-hour news cycle now, where especially with entertainment, like not even like real news, like just for like entertainment shit. Like if you're not constantly reminding people that you have a thing coming out, people are just going to forget. And like not the fans, like the fans are going to remember, but it's the fans aren't the ones that make the biggest impact in like the sales. Like it's not the diehard Mario fans going to see the new movie that is going to make that $1 billion movie or not. It's the families
that are
and,
going
and
to
the
see
kids who don't even really know who Mario is, but it's a family friendly movie that they're going to go see together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Mario's a much of a household name with or without gamer people that you're, especially that with this being a sequel movie, you didn't need to sell it. But oh shit, that's right. The rocket launches in about 10 minutes.
Nerd.
Look, they're circling the moon. This is the first manned ship to circle the moon in like how many years? I can't remember.
I actually didn't know that was happening at all.
Yeah, I shared it on my Discord if you were to pay attention.
I don't like space. Come on now, you know that.
I know. I know.
When we
But
colonize Mars, maybe I'll give a shit.
well, this is their steps to colonizing Mars is getting a moon base. And so they're doing basically doing the whole lunar experience again over the next several years. I think their plan is to land on the moon next year. I think I shared a trailer about what they were a video on Discord, and it was like they want to they're going up to circle the moon this year, and then some point next year they're going to do something else like landing on the moon to start to put together a base so that then we can figure out a way to more cheaply get to, but this is like steps to it, because it's easier to take off large aircraft from the moon than it is from Earth. So
how about the agenda?
The agenda, because I hope we finished introducing ourselves.
We did.
I made it through my rewatch of Bleach, so now all I have to do is watch the final season. It should be coming out starting in June or July. And Cobb read some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics, and I played and got all the trophies for MidiEvil remaster that came out in 2019.
Nice.
So,
good job.
Yeah, that's thanks.
So we've talked about Bleach a bunch as you've been going through this rewatch, but like, did you go all the way up through the current Blood War, or did you stop at the end of the Fullbring?
I went through the current 1,000 Year Blood. I went through everything.
What's your like general like feel on the series after like doing a full rewatch like this?
So Bleach was at one point my favorite anime. It definitely aged, and it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not my favorite. It's not in my top 10, but like as I was watching it, I was like, man, this is kind of slow and boring at times, and that was like me skipping the fillers and like we've talked about it, how bad they are with like the previously on stuff in each episode, where it's like half the episode that happened before was on that previously on, and they do that within 5 minutes and stuff. Like, it was like, it's a good series, it really is, but it's definitely not binge worthy. It's like watch one or two a day at most. And like it's kind of boring. The action is slow because it's that older animation style. And it's just like it aged. It didn't age well. I had not realized that Matthew Mercer, Liam O'Brien, and Travis Willingham are all voice actors in Bleach.
Like major ones, or just like little parts?
So Liam O'Brien is Captain Ukitake.
Okay. Wait,
which I knew that.
That's Rukia's original captain, right? The guy that was sick.
Yeah, he's the one who was always sick and ended up being saved by the hand of the Soul King. Travis Willingham is Ginjo from the Fullbring arc.
Oh, the bad guy.
And Matthew Mercer is the other bad guy from the Fullbring arc.
Like the guy that has like the relationship erasing power thing or whatever that was?
Yes, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, like Ginjo's best friend guy.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, I didn't realize that like you have 3/7 of the Critical Role cast in Bleach. And Ukitake plays this, like, he has a lot more speaking roles during the Fullbring arc than he has pretty much throughout the rest of the series. That, like, you actually get to hear a lot of them. And this is finished well before Critical Role even started.
I wonder if I wonder if, like, he'll reprise it for Blood War, or if he has.
Who
did you say was Ukitake?
Liam?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's still Ukitake in 1,000 Year Blood War.
Okay, so that's what I wasn't sure about, like if he was still doing that, because I know a bunch of those Critical Role people are also in Naruto.
Yeah,
like at some point, I think almost the entire cast, minus Ashley and Marisha, I think did a voice in like not generally like little like minor characters. They may have been side characters and limited roles, but like I want to say, isn't Liam Gara actually?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so Alex Lee did Ukitake in Thousand Year Blood.
Okay, but yeah, I think Liam was Gara. I'm pretty sure Lara was Naruto's mom,
Mm,
which again, only a few episodes, but like a major part of the story.
yeah. But yeah, so that was a cool, like, oh, that's, I know those voice actors kind of situation. Um, but yeah, like the anime itself, it's a hard watch in my opinion, especially with how bad, even skipping the fillers, how bad the fillers are that are like part filler, part uh in canon. It still gets bad. The fact that they tried to still shoehorn some of the bounce stuff as like canon characters in the anime was just bad. Um, but like overall, I was very glad to get the Thousand Year Blood War because the animation, the action, all that stuff is much better. And it's a much more concise and I think properly paced story on the side of on this side of Bleach. Like everything else was very badly paced and like sometimes it felt like they were just trying to fill 23 minutes, which I mean with how many fillers they have, it's true. They were just trying to fill time. Um but like Thousand Year Blood War is just worlds better than the original series. And I'm so excited to watch the finale, and like it has me hoping that they do like some OVAs or movies or something of the additional stuff that happened after Thousand Year Blood War, just to see. Like I don't need a Boruto situation where it's like a full on series of their kids, but like to see where the Soul Society goes after Thousand Year Blood War, I would really like to see that. Um,
Yeah, and I am curious because is it the summer or the fall that it's actually supposed to be the final core? Summer, right?
Summer, I think it's June or July.
Um, I am curious to go back to it once it's actually done and see how they do with that whole arc because the like and you know this, like I read it, so I know what happens, but the manga was it was very slow in actually a fairly good way. Like it really took its time for a long time exploring a lot of this stuff.
Hmm.
And then it just rushed the ending in like the worst way. Like it was one
Yeah,
of the most unsatisfying endings, like more so than the original series ending. Like
yeah,
at least the Fullbring arc kind of wrapped up and like things were left open for the most part. Like this was like a finality to like the main story, but also like just undermined everything that it built up in that full arc.
yeah.
With just like a very quick like, yep, none of this stuff mattered. We just kind of
That
like wipe the slate clean.
that's kind of like that's. I feel that's a lot of how Thousand Year Blood War in general is like right now they killed the Soul King and Yuhabak is sleeping. Like consuming or taking over the powers of the Soul King or whatever. But the second the Soul King was killed, all the worlds were supposed to like be non-existent or whatever. And they're all still existing. With the Soul King no longer being around, because Ukitake is barely hanging on to keep everything together. Um, but it's just like going back and watching and seeing some of the abilities that uh these Stern Ritters had. I'm just like, man, these are the most broken ass fucking abilities I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, and a
And
lot of it really was.
there's no reason that these Soul Reapers should have won any of this.
Yeah, a lot of it really was just like, all right, let's give these people like the craziest powers so that we then have to give all the captains and stuff crazy powers. Like,
Yeah.
um, especially I'm trying to, I don't want to spoil stuff. So,
We're currently all the captains are in them, or the Vizards just showed up to fight Gerard Valkyrie.
are they in like
Ichi,
the second heaven?
yeah,
Okay.
Ichigo is racing to fight Yuhaba, and Ishida is fighting the other Quincy dude that can't use a bow.
Right. Did anything happen with Kenpachi yet?
He was fighting the hand dude with Kurosuchi, and they're healing right now after their fight with the hand dude. So he hasn't used his Bankai yet.
Okay, that's actually what I was getting at. So you're
no, they're
did Bucket Hat show up yet?
Bucket Hat.
I forget his name. Uehara.
No, he hasn't used his Bankai yet either.
Okay, so you actually know a lot of like what happens, just maybe not like the details.
I've looked. I've like seen videos and looked stuff up. I know Ichigo uses his Bankai. I know Yuhaba breaks it again. But like I guess it doesn't fully break or something. I don't really know. I know Gerard Valkyrie's abilities are just broken as fuck. I know that Hitsugaya uses his Bankai and all of the flowers disappear and he becomes an adult. Stuff like that. Like I know some stuff.
He uses
happens.
like his second stage Bankai, which is weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, like a lot of them, because I think I always forget the guy's name. He's the new commander.
Shinsui.
Yeah, like I think this is the first time you see his Bankai, which is like the reverse of his Shikai. Like I think his Shikai is like
his Shikai is playful and is children's games, and so like the one that he uses against Lilibaro in Thousand Year Blood War is basically red light, green light, where like if they're not looking, you can hurt them, and if you hurt them when they're not looking, you're basically going to kill them. But if they're looking, you can't touch them at all. But it also has different abilities like jumping from shadows and things like that. His Bankai is basically a play, but it's and like they even hint it during the Arrancar arc. His Bankai is so strong and has such a huge range that he can't use it with too many people around because it affects
everything.
It doesn't just affect him and his opponent, it affects everyone and their opponents. So like one of the abilities of his Bankai is anytime your opponent deals damage to you, they actually take it. And so if he uses his Bankai and two people are fighting, then anytime they're damaging the other person, they're taking damage themselves or not. So he needs a lot of space to use it. But like but like when it comes to the Stern Ritters, it's like the one dude had the ability to just anything he can imagine is now. First of all, and I was talking to a friend of mine, this dude had the weakest imagination. There were not enough dinosaurs in that fight. Like if you're fighting a strong dude with a sword, where's the fucking T-Rexes? Like he goes America mode and pulls out a bunch of guns to shoot at him and a meteor. Okay, that's cool. He imagines getting him stuck in the vacuum of space, but like, why aren't you calling Godzilla to fight him or some shit like that? And then he loses just because his imagination was going so strong to defeat this guy who was basically a monster, that he imagined him to be a monster, and he then became a monster and killed the kid. It's like, oh my god. This is one of the most broken abilities, and you just you killed yourself. Gerard Valkyrie, just the more damage he takes, the bigger he gets, basically. And then it's I don't remember his name, but the dude that like his ability is to control the level of deadliness that substances will have. So like the first time you see him, he's fighting Squad Zero, and he's like, well, I'm just gonna drink my own blood and make it so that you now have too much blood in your body and you're gonna die from blood toxicity. And it's like that's just a broken ability. That's so broken.
Yeah, and like you're right. Like a lot of that arc, like every time, like every major section, it's like somebody has abilities that are ridiculous, and then the good guy or guys get their own ridiculous abilities that, in some cases, they already had. Like
yeah.
Like you know, you're basically told that like Hitsugaya knew that he could do the thing. He just didn't do the thing because of like
he's vain and he doesn't want to be an adult, basically.
Yeah, but like a lot of it is plot armor in that show, and like again the final kind of like stretch of it was just rushed and like unsatisfying.
Yeah.
When like the rest of it was like, yes, it was over the top and it was kind of dumb, but it was at least like satisfying, and they gave things time to breathe. Because like even between all the fights, they had those like kind of like downtime bits. Like there's this section where Ichigo basically goes to learn about himself.
Mm-hmm.
After the sword's destroyed.
His first Bankai is broken. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how he comes to terms with himself and then gets the dual swords.
Well, it's how he learns that he is part Quincy and
Yeah.
what happened to his mom and how he had White in him and Quincy in him and Shinigami in him. Like it's how he learns about himself.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like that story is I am the sword because he learns about himself. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for the final arc or whatever they're calling it. They're not calling them arcs or seasons. They're
They're
calling them
cours.
Cours, that's it.
Anime generally calls those cours, because even like in a season, like a regular full season is what, 25 episodes, let's say,
Yeah.
or 24 episodes, and for anime they consider each 12 episode section a cour.
Yeah.
So most seasons of anime are 2 cours.
Mhm.
And nowadays you sometimes get them split up across like gaps, the way Bleach has been doing it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah, it's only a few months, so I now don't have to rush to finish watching it, and I can take my time with watching other stuff.
True. Very true.
I need to watch Godzilla, and I need to watch Daredevil. I need to watch. There's something else. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff to.
Well, you have time now.
Yeah.
Well, moving along, in my effort to catch up on comics, I started reading the new newer Ninja Turtle comics.
Mhm.
So in like late 2023, early 2024, they wrapped up the like 13-year run they had, 12-year run, at IDW, which they ended on 150. And they relaunched it, like 2 months after that with a new number 1. But like kept the story mostly going. Like there's like a minor time skip from like the end of it.
Yeah.
But it's still the same continuity. They didn't erase anything. They just kind of like put us into like a different space for the Turtles. And I actually wasn't super into it at first. So like the end of the previous volume, they like a lot of shit happened over the course of 150 issues in that book. Like Splinter is dead. A huge chunk of New York actually got mutated. So there's like actually like a large number of mutants. Like and in this case it's more like Bebop and Rocksteady. Like it's people that got mutated into animals, not like the Turtles where they were, turtles that were mutated. And like there was like a shanty town that was all the mutants, and now they're just reintegrated into New York City as a whole and just kind of part of the world. But also in this run, like they set it up where like the Turtles were turtles and Splinter was a rat in a lab. But when they mutated, they also reincarnated from like a past life. So like Splinter in this was Hamato Yoshi, just like in the old cartoon. But that he wasn't like a ninja from like present day. He was a ninja from feudal Japan that was murdered by the Foot Clan and Shredder that he used to be a part of before Shredder took it over and like turned it. And Shredder was kind of like not immortal, but he was resurrected in the present day. And then the Turtles were his actual sons resurrected. So like they kind of like, added a little bit more of like legit familial stuff to that run. But so where this new one picks up, and it's Jason Aaron, and the first 13 issues, 12 or 13 issues it's him with like a different artist on every book, and each book kind of is from a different Turtles perspective for the first 4, and then each book still has like a specific perspective, but it doesn't alternate as much. And it's basically all 4 Turtles have just kind of gone their separate ways. Raph is in prison, and it turns out he's actually in prison like on purpose. Like I guess he did get arrested, but then like he made a deal with like the warden that he was going to help like find out who like the rats were in the prison that were like doing some nefarious shit. Leo was in India, like doing whatever fucking Leonardo does. Mikey was a Japanese action television star on like some hit ninja show in Japan. And Donatello had actually kind of like totally lost himself, and at the time that the book picks up, he is in captivity in like Florida in this like mutant fighting ring where these people basically keep a bunch of mutants chained up and malnourished, and people can come in and pay like $5,000 to just kill one of them. And Donatello is basically there, like losing his mind, but making himself the target every time, so that the other mutants that can't fight back are safe, essentially. And like in the first probably like 9 or 10 issues, like Donnie actually seems like he is actually broken, like that he has just lost himself. He's literally carrying around a dead rat, referring to it as Splinter the whole time.
Oh no.
Yeah. And like in the first issue that with Donnie, like the rat's not dead. But then like when all the turtles get back together and they find Donnie, like Donnie just has this dead rat on his shoulder that has like a ninja star sticking out of its back. Like it's very sad. But like as that went on, like it ended up growing on me, because like it wasn't just this weird like fuck up all the characters. Like there was like an actual narrative going on. That they let it breathe before it really took off. So like back in New York, a new DA took over. He was shitty and a criminal, and he got a hold of the Foot Clan and started using them to crack down on mutants, because he had a prejudice against mutants, and also to try and lure the turtles back to make them like scapegoats, essentially, and imprison them. And like it turns out that like the dead rat that like Donnie was holding the whole time, like wasn't Splinter, but was like Splinter's ghost may have been like talking to them through it, kind of, and like helped bring them back together as like brothers again. So it was like, it was a little touching at the end. And then they all realized that like Splinter might actually be trapped somewhere, because he died around issue 100 of the previous volume. So it's been years at this point since he died. Because you figure once a month comics, there was actually a break in 2020. So he's probably been dead since like 2018 or 2019, which long time in comic books. But he died in like a duel with Shredder that had a whole bunch of like mysticism tied around it. So like him not being like all the way dead isn't totally out of the realm of possibility, especially when you have characters like Shredder that were resurrected multiple times throughout the course of the series. And there are like these weird, like, do you guys, I vaguely remember this from the cartoon, but I might also just be making it up, or it might have been like one of the other cartoons. Do you guys remember like the Rat King and stuff like that from Ninja Turtles?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I think he was an enemy in the video game, the recent beat 'em up. Not recent, things like from 7 years old.
Yeah, I forget, the Shredder's Revenge or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think he was in that.
Yeah, but so like that character is part of like a pantheon of like basically gods that like they're immortal, and they're not all powerful or anything, but they're like all different animals, and they all kind of have like a different realm and point of view that they sort of inhabit. And the Rat King is just like the shitty, sinister one. And so like there is all this supernatural stuff kind of floating around. And even like Donatello near the end of the thing, like starts dabbling in like mystic arts. So like none of the stuff that was going on is like out of the realm of possibility, which is nice, because the Turtles book has like felt a little weird for the last several years, like not having like a Splinter character. There was a period where like Shredder filled the role. Like he basically had like a come to Jesus moment and realized that like he was the problem.
Okay.
And like he realized he was the problem when like the Rat King was basically working towards Armageddon, and like use that time to train the turtles. But yeah, otherwise like it's surprisingly a good run so far. Jason Aaron just did like those first like 10, 12, 13 issues. So like that was the story of like basically the turtles coming back together and like coming back to New York City after like splitting up. And now I know somebody else took over with the next issue. I haven't read it yet, but it seems like that issue is going to be like the search for Splinter, like them trying to figure out like, is he really out there in need of help, or is like something else like nefarious going on?
Yeah.
But it's good stuff. Like I'm always surprised at how good they keep making these turtle comics, just because it's a very unique franchise. Because like it's so steeped in like the 80s. Like Michelangelo still says like cowabunga in it. it's not all the time or anything, but like that's still a thing. But like they've managed to like age it up with like the modern time, so it doesn't feel dated like that, while still kind of retaining some of that charm. But they also they put out a lot of Turtles content at IDW, because they have the main book. They also have like a Saturday morning cartoon one that is like legitimately the Saturday morning cartoon version of the Turtles, just a continuation in comic book form. And then they've always done these like micro series and like other kind of like side series, like ongoing at the same time, that all the micro series would generally focus on like a side character that maybe never got explored, or if there's like a story going on that one of the Turtles is off on, they'll spin that out into like a micro story and like let that play out on its own, where it can like have room to breathe. There's been like April micro series, and Casey and Shredder, and in that previous volume, they introduced like a new turtle. Well, they introduced two of them actually, but they introduced a female turtle that's not Venus from the 90s live action. They introduced Venus later though, actually, and she gets a micro series. So like they've always done these like other side series, and they've managed to keep the quality actually pretty good for them somehow. Because usually when you get books where like they're just kind of inundating their line with just like the same fucking characters, they just start kind of phoning it in, and they try to do too many tie-ins and shit like that, the way like Marvel does, and it ruins the pacing of everything else going on. But like IDW is actually like, they don't do that all that often. Like the micro series play into the main series, but if you don't read them, the most that you're missing you're only missing those side stories. And generally when the characters show back up, if there's reference to it, they just tell you, it's like, hey, this thing happened over in this micro series, if you give a shit. But it doesn't like ever factor into the larger story they're telling. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually a surprisingly good run, and it's still early. So this run started in the summer of 2024. So it's, I think it's up to like 16 or 17 issues at this point. Cause I don't think it actually came out every month initially. A couple of the issues took a little bit longer, but it seems like it's actually on a monthly cadence now. And it also has a full-time team now, because like I said, the Jason Aaron's arc in there, that was like the 12 or 13. Every issue was a different artist, which was cool, because like every issue had like a different style and worked with the way that they were telling the story from the different points of views for a lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's worth checking out if you like Turtles, and it's early, so you can jump in and like still be right there, and they give you enough information to not be totally lost. And like some stuff you just kind of have to like live with. Like Donatello doesn't have a shell anymore. Well, like he doesn't have like his real shell. His shell is made out of metal, because Bebop and Rocksteady destroyed his original shell with his sledgehammer.
Yeah, like I remember that. Like there was a whole big deal about him almost dying.
Yeah, like it was actually like the solicits and everything where Donatello dies. And like he did technically die, and they put his consciousness into Metalhead, the turtle robot.
Yeah.
And then I forget who did it, but somebody basically like built a like metal shell to replace his broken one. And they used magic and science to like put him back in his body.
Nice.
Yeah. And then they used his broken shell to make Venus, the other female turtle. Who was a human that got turned into a frog, that then got turned into a turtle.
That's not how that works. That's not how metamorphosis works.
That's the fucking Pokemon evolutionist shit I've ever heard.
Yep, it's the Slowpoke, Slowbro, Slowking evolution. So they put a shell on her and she became a turtle.
Human frog turtle. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because she was a regular human, and then like the mutant gem bomb happened. And her and a bunch of her friends got turned into toads or turtles or something. And then she got kidnapped by a mad scientist who was doing all sorts of weird science magic combination things, trying to unlock the powers of mutation, and use Donatello's shell to make her into a turtle. It's very weird. That was a very weird story.
Yes, agreed. That's not how that works.
No. But the one thing I'm hoping for is for this arc, or not this arc, but for this run, to start going back to some of the stuff from the previous volume, because like again, it's a continuation. It wasn't a reset, and they had built up such a cast of characters in that previous volume that are all in New York and are all like important to like the Turtles in this run, that like it would be weird for them not to have some sort of interaction with them again. So like I'm waiting to see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ninja Turtles. 40 years later, they're still good. Or 42 years. I think they're 84 was when the original comic came out. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyway, Rich, you played MidiEvil.
Yeah, I played MidiEvil. So the original game was 99, 98, 97?
That sounds right. It was a PlayStation 1 game.
It was PlayStation 1. So if anybody doesn't know, MidiEvil is PlayStation 1 game where you run around as Sir Daniel Fortescue, a skeleton who is missing an eye, in the battle against the evil Narcon, I think. He was basically the first person to die. But he was a hero, and they made an altar for him, and then centuries later, you are awoken as Narcon is getting ready to put the world of Galamir, or the world of Galamir, into a never-ending darkness, and threaten the worlds. And so you then have to go on a quest as the last knight of Galamir to stop Narcon from destroying the world, basically. And it's very silly. It's a very adorable, silly game where you run around as a skeleton guy and he runs very silly like. And you get different weapons like big swords and shields and bow and arrows and just hammers, things like that. Just a bunch of different weapons. And it's like platformy, puzzle solvey type of game from early PlayStation era in the 90s. Well, they remastered it in 2019. Or I don't know if it was a remaster or it's probably more of a remake than a remaster.
I couldn't remember if it was called remake or remaster.
It wasn't called either.
I thought it did. Oh, it's called Resurrection or something.
Resurrection, right? Or Resurrected, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like it's basically a remaster or remake of the original, and it's pretty what's the word? It's basically the same game. And yeah, I've been playing through it on stream, and it's like it just brought me back. It's very fun. It's very silly. The controls are a little iffy because controls back then were always iffy, like a little bit slidey, or like the collision detection on like when you're jumping or where you're going is a little wonky and not that great. The camera's always a problem. But other than that, like it's a great classic game that I played through, and I got about halfway through, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna get all the trophies, and we'll see by the end how many trophies I have left. And so on, the basic game is run through the levels, defeat as many enemies as you can to fill up the chalice. Once the chalice is filled up, you go to the Hall of Heroes and you gather a new weapon. And once you gather all 20 chalices, you then have a statue dedicated to yourself in the Hall of Heroes. This one changes things up a little bit because on the second or third to last level, there's actually a chest you can open up, which I don't recall if this was in the original game. And I don't think it was, but you open this chest and it's like, it lets you know, like, you open this chest, if you were to do what's in this, like complete the puzzle that's in this chest, you'll be awarded with something very special. And what it is you release lost souls around the world, and so then you have to go. You grab it, you get the first soul from opening the chest, and it'll tell you to go somewhere specific, and complete like an objective, like one of the map locations. And while you're at that map location, you pick up the next soul, and it brings you back through all the playable levels. Once again, just like obviously you're speedrunning it, you're most likely have enough equipment or enough gear to where you don't have to worry about it. So like I got into that. It was the first thing I started doing basically on Monday as I was getting ready to end it, and I had like 3 levels left, and I was like, I guess I have to do this now, because most likely doing all of these will be required for me to get the trophy. It's not. You just have to find all the souls. You don't have to do them all for the trophy. but I did all the souls, I did all the puzzles, and it unlocks a playable version of the original version of the game.
Oh,
So
that's kind
you
of
go,
cool.
yeah, so you go back into the menu, and you then have 3 options in the menu, or 4 options. You have load game, new game, settings, and old game. And you can go to the old game, click it, and it loads in the original version of MidiEvil. Which is like, I was like, all right, I'm not going to dive into this. I don't need to dive into this.
Except, I mean, it's the same game. It's just it looks worse, right?
Yeah, it's PS1 graphics, maybe a little bit different here or there, something like that. But for the most part, like I was going through and doing like checking guides throughout playing and making sure I like didn't miss stuff or understood how to do things, or if I was just lost in general. And a lot of times the guide would be like, if you're playing on PlayStation, if you're playing on the resurrected version, this part is easier because of this, and this is how they program the monsters. But if you're playing on the PlayStation 1 version, this part is like this, and this is how they program the monsters. But so yeah, for the most part, like it's the same levels, it's the same puzzles and everything else. But it was really cool. I got to the final boss. Final boss is kind of a pain, like most early PlayStation bosses. But yeah, it brought me back. It brought me back. I had a lot of nostalgia playing it. I've been wanting to play that version since it had come out because I love the game. I love Sir Daniel Fortescue. I wish they would like make new medieval games. And it's like I ended up like working on getting all the trophies, and I got a lot of them just by playing through the game. And then the last few were just like I had checked, and I had like I think at one point I had like 6 trophies left after I beat the game, and most of them were just like very situational. Like one of the trophies was to try to do one of the cheat codes from the original game. I was like, that's cool. I never would have thought to do that, but they coded it in like if you try to do one of the cheat codes, you're gonna get an achievement.
That's neat.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool.
And then like there's one gather 10,000 coins. It's collective, not all at once. And then there was one that was die 7 different ways. Now that's a bit of a pain because there's no like lives in this. It's like you get health vials, and you can have more and more health. And so each health bar is 300 hit points, and you can have up to 10 health vials, something like that. So you can have like 3,000 health. So to die 10 different ways, you need to cut all that health down. So, or 7 different ways, you have to cut it all down. So what I did is I actually ended up going to like the end of the first level. And at the end of the first level, there's a pit that if you jump into, it'll take out your health and bring you to the next vial. And so I jumped into that pit until I had only 1 full health bar left. Finished that level, which then it saved my health at just 1 health bar. And I was like, all right, now I just got to figure out the 7 different ways to die. And like I was looking online, and people, and like I was afraid because some people were saying that the trophy was bugged and like they couldn't get it, or you might have to play it multiple times. And I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I hope this isn't the one that keeps me from getting it. It wasn't. I was able to. I just had to like. I had to. Let's see. It was get killed by an enemy, fall into a pit, fall in, drown, basically. I don't know if falling into a pit and drowning are. I don't know if falling into a pit and drowning are the same, but they might be. But I don't think so. I had to die by fire. You have to die by lava. It's 5. What are the last 2? Fire by lava. I don't know. I can't remember 6 right now. It's not coming to me. But then 7 is there's a level that times out, and that's one that it's to die by timing out in that level. And so yeah, I had to play through that whole level till I get to the point where it does the the timer countdown, and then I had to stand there for 3 minutes as the timer counted down. But I was able to get all those, and I was like, all right, that one I thought was going to be the biggest pain because it doesn't track how many deaths you have. It doesn't track what deaths you do have. You just have to know, and so I just did all of them. And basically, I might have died the same way once or twice because like I wasn't tracking while playing, and I didn't really die that much because I had 3,000 health by the end of it. But yeah, it was such a fun, silly game. I think it was on sale, and that's why I mean it was one of the games I've had to play on as a promised game on stream anyway, and it was recent. It might have been recently on sale, so I just got it. Or I was just like, it's $20. Let me just get it now to play it. But yeah, it was really nice and really quick trophy
Nice.
game as well. I love the fact that you can run around with his arm and hit enemies with the arm.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing about that game.
Yeah, if you run out of weapons, or if you run out of ammo for certain weapons, he'll just pull out his arm and you can throw his arm. One of the trophies is actually to kill the first boss only using his arm, which is a pain because you can only hurt the first boss with ranged attacks. So you have to throw his arm, and each throw only does 10 points of damage, and he has about 300 health or something like that. So you have to do 30 throws. You have to do 30 throws. And like you can only hit it at certain points. So it took a bit. It didn't take too long, but like it was still a bit of a pain. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's MidiEvil. I don't know if you guys played it when we were younger, but we had it, and I just loved it.
I don't think I ever played it, but I think I played demos for it.
Yeah, it was on one of the demo discs. And I played that demo a lot when I was younger. And I think they came out with like 3 of them. 3
There's
MidiEvils?
at least 2.
I'm not entirely sure.
I feel like there's 3. In my head, I can see a game called like MidiEvil, basically.
I don't know. But yeah, it was.
It
we
looks
had them all.
like there were just 2.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, Resurrection. Oh, so Resurrection. All right, so Resurrection is actually a 2005 PSP game that is a reimagining of the first game. And then MidiEvil 2019 is literally just the remake of the original.
So the remake is what I have because I played it on PS5. So.
And MidiEvil 2 is 500 years after the events of the first game.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense, because at the end of MidiEvil, he goes back to sleep.
Yeah, and it's his revival in Victorian-era London as he attempts to stop Sorcerer Lord Palethorn and Jack the Ripper's plans to terrorize the city by raising the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well, sounds like that might be a show.
Yeah. Drew, did you watch Jeopardy on YouTube?
Oh, I did watch that.
It was good. I don't understand. Like, I was trying to figure out why they did that. Like, are they moving all Jeopardy to YouTube?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or it's like,
because especially since that wasn't a full game.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't do
double Jeopardy round.
Yeah, there was no double Jeopardy round. But like I don't know. I feel like they might be doing like mini stuff on YouTube or like quick episodes on YouTube. But
yeah,
I thought that was really cool. I watched it today. They raised some good money. Poor Monet Exchange just couldn't get that buzzer rung.
I had never heard of that person before this. They were really fun and on that.
He's hilarious. I love Monet. Like, I'll be honest. Like, drag performers, especially some of these like big drag performers, like they're not always my cup of tea. I've watched Dungeons and Drag Queens on Dimension 20, and I've just been like, some of their personalities just don't click with me. But Monet is a really fun, awesome personality. I love him. So, like, he was just super fun to watch. And of all people, Rebecca Black was on there.
Yeah,
which
was a very random third.
I mean, she is actively making music. I think she's more on, like, the DJ side now. But I guess, like, yeah, she does have one of the biggest YouTube videos on there. So I guess if you're doing a YouTube feature, you want to have one of the most known YouTube people, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, and then Brandon Lee Mulligan, who just ran away with it at the end.
I didn't know this was even a thing.
It aired or whatever yesterday. It was like they released the episode yesterday. It was a 20-minute episode. They just did one full round of Jeopardy and Final Jeopardy, and the money was given to charity. So both Brennan and Rebecca Black did the Trevor Project, and Monet Exchange was for
Glad,
yeah, which is queer represent. They work for queer representation in like media and so the queer community won last night basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool. Also, did you see? I believe it was Kumail Nanjiani is going to be in the next season of Taskmaster.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't watched the most recent one with what's his name? What's the comedian's name? Was that this past season or the season before?
If you're thinking of Jason Mantzoukas,
Jason Mantzoukas, yeah.
he was the season.
Yeah, so I haven't watched that one yet. I've been wanting to, but I'm like,
amazing.
Yeah. And I love that it's just all on YouTube. They just put it on YouTube.
Goes up the day after it airs in the UK.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
I
think that's a show.
All right. Well, in that case, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us at your dollars, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All of those things help. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. And our Blue Sky is at one-quest.com. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And Rich, what does your streaming look like?
Twitch.tv/B_1. For video game streaming, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sundays. Currently right now, I don't know what I'm going to start next. It's either going to be Lies of P or Dragon Quest Builders 2. I haven't decided what next. So just come hang out and see what's going on.
Nice.
We also did the charity run last week, and we raised about $500 for Starlight Children's Foundation. And so that unlocks me playing Spyro 1, 2, and 3 in the near future. So
cool.
Yeah, games to play.
I played the first game in the Spyro Reignited. Just like you were saying about MidiEvil, controls can be a little awkward, but like that game is still fun to play.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, with all that said, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.